What's up, guys? Thank you for watching. I hope everyone is having a great day today, and I appreciate you joining me for yet another video. I feel like it's been a while since I've talked to you guys. I know I posted a video last week, but I actually recorded that video quite a while ago. Do you guys hear these ducks over here? I've never seen ducks in this pond before. That's weird. Huh. But yeah, I feel like it's been a while, guys, and the main reason for that is the weather. I mean, this winter has been absolutely brutal. It's been wet and rainy, or 30 below zero, and it's just not easy for me to get out here. I'm definitely not complaining. I love making videos, and it's not gonna stop me just because it's a little bit wet out here. But I'm ready for the summer and the unpredictable weather to stop. As you can see, my truck isn't a big fan of it either. That's just from the drive-in, and it's just a muddy mess out here. So hopefully soon, this weather will clear up and I can come out here and hang out with you guys every single day if I want to, so I'm looking forward to it. But today's video is one that I've wanted to do for quite a while, and I was thinking to myself last night, and I can't believe that we haven't done a video like this yet. So what we're gonna do today is basically just a good old-fashioned caliber war video. I know it's hard to believe that we haven't done a caliber war video yet, but we're gonna put an end to that today and hopefully start a series on the channel that you guys will like. I know I've heard from a lot of you guys who would like to see stuff like this, so just let me know if you like it by smashing that thumbs up button for me. But today I have 3 guns out here, and obviously this will be just the beginning. We'll probably do tons more of these in the future, but the 3 guns I have out here today are very common calibers, 3 of my favorites, and we're gonna put some of these rounds to the test and see how they perform. So let's do it. All right, guys, so this will probably start a series on the channel because there's obviously just a ton of different handgun calibers to get to, but today we're gonna shoot the 380 ACP. This is the Sig Sauer P290. The 9mm, this is my Glock 43 that you guys have seen a million times on the channel now, and the newest addition to the arsenal, the Smith & Wesson Shield 45 ACP. So when it comes to handguns, it's kind of a balancing act between like power, recoil, capacity, stuff like that. And obviously if you carried a 500 Magnum but you can't hit anything with it, it kind of defeats the purpose. So what we're gonna do first is shoot each of these guns and talk about the recoil a little bit. I have my steel torso plate down there, and I might even set up a camera off to the side here to try and give you guys a better look at how each of these guns recoil. All right, first up, the 380. So the 380, obviously a pretty soft shooting little gun, and this is actually, believe it or not, pretty big for a 380. Most 380s are like the little teeny tiny little pocket pistols or micro pistols, and those guns can actually end up being pretty snappy. Now, like I said, this one has a good sized grip on it, and there's just more to hold on to with this one. So this is a sweet little shooter, but my problem with 380s for the most part is that they are so tiny that you don't really save any recoil because they're just so small and lightweight that there's not a lot to hold on to. Now, they're obviously great for concealing and stuff like that, but when it comes to actual recoil and being shootable, a lot of times they end up being just as snappy as something like a 9mm because they're just such small guns. But the Sig Sauer P290 is a sweet little shooter. Next up, the 9mm out of the Glock 43. All right, so the Glock 43 is definitely the gun that I have the most experience with out of all the ones that I brought out, and after shooting it compared to that 380, it does have quite a bit more recoil, but not too much. This is my girlfriend's gun, and she weighs about 110 pounds, and she shoots the Glock 43 just fine, but it does have a bit more recoil than the 380. Like I said, that's a smooth shooting 380 though. A lot of 380s are not like that, but yeah, the 9mm is just one of my favorites, and when you start getting into these really small guns, the recoil does go up, obviously, and some of these new, like pocket pistol 9s, are starting to become almost as small as some of those 380s, and once you get down to, you know, like nothing to hold on to is when recoil will become an issue, but the 9mm has a pretty comfortable recoil impulse. Next up, the 45 ACP out of the Smith & Wesson Shield. All right, so the 45. It's a weird thing when you go from a 9 to a 45 because the 9mm has like a quick muzzle flip, whereas the 45, obviously you can see it has more muzzle rise and more recoil overall. I'm sure that's very obvious in the video that I have, but it doesn't snap quite as harsh, and although it does rise and kind of push back, it doesn't feel like it's that much more recoil. It's just you feel like it's a more powerful gun in your hand, but it's just kind of a slow push instead of a quick, you know, snap like a 9 or a 40. Not that a 9 is snappy or nothing, I'm not saying that, but just if you compare the two, the 45 is definitely more of a slow recoil. Now, I'm sure you noticed it did take me a little bit longer to reset my sights on the target, and I don't shoot 45s a whole lot, so maybe over time I would get better at that, but overall I like the 45, and I don't see the recoil from the 45 being a problem for too many people. All right, before we move on, I'm going to do a penetration test, and what I'm going to use for this are these 2x6 pieces of wood. Now, I have shot these before, and they do stop bullets pretty well, but I'm just kind of curious to see what the over penetration differences would be if you were to, you know, hit a wall or miss your target or something like that between the 380, the 9, and the 45. All right, we're going to start with the 380. All right, what do you guys think? I'm going to say the 380 stopped in the third piece of wood. Let's see. There's our entrance hole there on our first 2x6, and it stopped. So I was wrong. There's not even an exit hole. There's a little bulge right there on that piece of wood, but there is no exit hole. So the 380 stopped in the very first piece of wood. All right, let's try the 9mm. So truthfully, I should know what this one did because I've shot this exact same round out of that exact same gun into this wood before, but I can't remember. I'm gonna say the third piece of wood. After that, seeing that 380 stop in the first one, I'm gonna say the 9 went to the third piece of wood. So let's see. There's our entrance hole right there next to the 380. Exit hole. And we have our entrance hole on the second piece of wood. Exit hole, all right. Our third piece of wood, and no exit hole. So quite a big difference really from the 380 to the 9mm. I just can't believe that 380 only stopped in the first piece of wood like that. But our 9mm made it to the third, so let's see what our 45 does. All right, 45 ACP. Whoa. That was a different result. All right, so I went ahead and put this wood back up on the table, and look at the difference in the size of that hole from that 45. That's just crazy. But went through our first piece of wood out the other side and just completely cut that piece of wood in half. So it didn't go any further though. It looks like it stopped in that second piece of wood. I really wish I could find that bullet. That'd be kind of cool. But, oh, here it is. There it is. There's our 45 right there on the ground. So perfectly intact. Didn't deform at all or anything. And man, that is a powerful little slug to just completely cut that piece of wood in half like that. That's pretty funny. Technically, the winner of our wood penetration challenge, that didn't sound right, is our 9mm. But I give my points to the 45 for just completely chopping it in half. All right, guys, before we go, I'm gonna do a ballistics gel test with all three of these guns, and the gel block I'm gonna use is my 20% clear ballistics gel block with a water jug behind it to catch anything that might pass all the way through. So what my original goal was here was to test the exact same hollow point in all three calibers to kind of give us an even playing field, or a baseline, if you will, on the differences in power and penetration and stuff like that. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find the HST in 380. So the 380, we're gonna do the Federal Premium Hydro Shock, and then the 9 and the 45, we're testing the Federal Premium HST. And the reason for that is because the HST is always a consistent expander, no matter what caliber I test it in. So I figured that this will give us the best results to show you guys side-by-side comparison of how these hollow points perform. Now in 380, a lot of people honestly prefer ball ammo or extreme penetrators and stuff like that. There's a million different types of ammo out there that you can pick. This is just a baseline test to show you guys the difference in at least a similar hollow point of these 3 different calibers. All right, first up, the 90 grain HydroShock 380. All right, so our 380 went in right in the middle of the gel block, went all the way down through the whole 16-inch gel block, and I have our water jug down here so it doesn't get the table all wet, but it went into the water jug and out the other side. So I assume that the 380 failed to expand, and again, there's a ton of different types of ammo out there for all these calibers. This is not like a 380 ammo test or nothing like that. I probably will do something like that down the road, but that's fairly common for low velocity pistol rounds, and we've seen that lately in the 45 videos that I've been doing, where some of them are going so slow that they don't really expand very well. So I assume that that could be what happened with the 380 here. But like I said, a lot of people like penetration, especially when it comes to the 380, so maybe that's not such a bad thing. All right, let's do the 9mm. This is the 124 grain Federal Premium HST. All right, our 9mm went in just to the left of the 380, and you can see in that first few inches of gel, a much bigger wound cavity than our 380 had. The bullet continued down the gel block and stopped right there, fully expanded as you would expect from the 9mm HST, and it looks pretty good. And the 9mm HST stopped at about 13 inches into our first gel block. All right, let's do the 45. This is the 230 grain Federal Premium HST. All right, our 45 is the one on the right there, and it's kind of hard to see from this side of the gel, so I'm going to go over the top for you guys. But the 45 also has a very big wound cavity in that gel block, and you can see the bullet there stopped and definitely fully expanded in that ballistics gel block. And the 45 HST stopped at about 11 inches into our gel block. So, like I said, that 380, I'm not even sure that HydroShock bullet might be designed to penetrate that far and not expand. I'm really not sure how that bullet's supposed to perform. I assume it's supposed to expand. I haven't really done too much research on those, but like I said, this is just a basic test of 3 really common hollow points that you could find at your store that you know, a lot of people would probably buy to use in their self-defense guns. So not a big deal. The 380, it's not like it's a bad caliber or nothing like that because that bullet didn't expand. Like I said, with low velocity pistol rounds, a lot of times there are issues with that, but I'm sure there's plenty of good ammo out there for the 380, and I know a lot of people who prefer ball ammo or extreme penetrators because they get more penetration, which is what you want out of a 380. Well, that's gonna do it for me today, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was kind of a fun one, and like I said, I love caliber wars, and I can't believe that it took us this long to get here. So we will do plenty more of these in the future, and the amount of stuff that we can shoot and test these bullets on is pretty much endless. So just let me know what you guys would like to see, and you know I'll get back to you like I always do. But thanks again, guys. I really appreciate it. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up for me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, guys, real quick before I let you go, I wanted to show you something because this is pretty cool. So I didn't pull these bullets out of the gel until I got home. And obviously I didn't get the 380 because it went all the way through, but I did get the 9 and the 45, and this is pretty cool. So this is the 9mm HST. Always pretty impressive how much this bullet expands, but look at the size difference from the 9 to the 45. That 45 is literally at least twice the size of the 9mm. So I thought that was pretty cool, and of course the 45 is a bigger bullet, but just how much that bullet expanded was really impressive. So that's definitely another benefit to the 45.